Hey guys, my name is Batimio, and recently I was approached by the guys that created Guns of Icarus, a team-oriented indie airship game that I honestly didn't really know a whole lot about when I was first approached at the time. But then I gave it a couple of hours, I tried it out, and I discovered that it is surprisingly in-depth, it's a lot of fun, and not really exactly what I was expecting. So if you've never heard about this game, you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Basically, the way it works is that it's all about airship combat and trying to destroy the enemy ships. And there are a lot of airships in Guns of Icarus. You got ones that are giant juggernauts. They can take a lot of hits, but are not very maneuverable. But they also have a lot of firepower at their disposal. Then you got ships on the completely opposite end of the spectrum that are very fast and nimble. They can get in and out of combat very fast, but they're not going to stand up to direct conflict as well as those massive ships. And then of course you got everything in between. So there's pretty much every single ship that you could want or that would really suit your fancy. But then you need someone to pilot this bad boy. And this is where the teamwork aspect of Guns of Icarus really comes into play, because each ship has a crew of 4, and one of those crewmen is going to be the pilot, which is a very, very important role. Their job is basically to line up shots for the gunners, which I'll talk about here in a second, which is very important, and also to get out of combat when necessary, because there will be times when the enemy team has 2 gunships directly behind you, and you just need to get the hell out of there, and the pilot is going to be the only one to do that. As for the gunner, their role is, well, to man the guns and to try to take out the enemy ship. And they have a lot of different ways to go about that. They can use the main cannon in the front, which is going to pack a ridiculous amount of punch, and it's going to do a lot of damage, but that's reliance on your pilot lining up that shot for you. But then you can also use the smaller guns on the side, which usually don't hit as hard, but they have also some unique property to them. So you can maybe use like the flamethrower to set them on fire, or you can use a Gatling gun or kind of a grenade launcher to do explosive damage. But what's really cool is that there are a lot of different ways that you can approach taking out the enemy team's airship. You can go for their blimp. You can completely deplete it. Basically, it's by taking its health all the way to 0, and then they will slowly descend to the ground, rendering them a sitting duck, an easy target for you to just kind of swoop in and blow them up. Or you can go for their motor to render their movement or to render their maneuverability completely useless, once again making them a sitting duck so that you can swoop in and take them out. And essentially what you're trying to do is to blow up their hull. Once you do that, they blow up into a million pieces, you get the kill, which is of course basically the point of some of these game modes, and you are that one step closer to victory. So while all of this is going on, while the pilot and the gunner are communicating back and forth, they're using those teamwork skills to line up shots, you also have the extremely important role of the engineer, and their role is to basically make sure that your ship doesn't blow up. So if the enemy is trying to take out your motor, he's going to be in the back repairing those as quickly as possible. If they're going directly for the hull, then he's going to be going for that. It's basically kind of like a mini game, or trying to min-max and trying to figure out, well, if they're going for the motor and the blimp at the same time, should I go for the motor first so that we still have movement, or should I go up all the way to the top and to try to repair that? And if you don't have a good engineer on your team, you're not going to last very long. There were some matches where I was paired up with some randoms that were new to the game, just like I was, and it was clear that they didn't really have a whole lot of idea what they were doing, and we didn't last very long for that very reason, because they just didn't really understand which one were the appropriate one to repair at that time. So it's the combination of the gunner, the pilot, and the engineer working in tandem that makes this game so team-oriented and what makes it so much fun. But the one thing though I would keep in mind, if this is all very appealing to you, you love the concept of Guns of Icarus and you would like to pick it up, is that it's a lot more fun with friends. And while it's still very enjoyable with random people, just remember this is very team oriented. So if you're kind of shy and you don't want to be talking to some random people on the interwebs and you don't like that concept of things, then I would kind of stay away from this, because you do need to talk. You need to use a microphone, because if you're not, your team isn't going to last very long. And it's just always more fun to yell at your friends than a random person on the internet. But before I go, I also wanted to mention that they have a Kickstarter going. They do want to expand Guns of Icarus. They want to do more with it. And so if you'd like to check that out and all this stuff sounds interesting, I will leave a link down below to that as well. But that is about it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and so until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.